Hello there, you're welcome. Today we're looking at an argument for God's existence. We've looked at a couple of arguments before now, and today we're going to be looking at Anselm'S ontological argument for God's existence. Do well to like this video and subscribe. Turn on your notification bells so that you can get access every time we upload a new video. This argument was propounded by Anselm. Anselm was an Italian monk. And this argument has had a lot of attacks from philosophers, but nobody has been able to successfully show that the argument is illogical and it doesn't follow philosophically. This argument has 4 premises and a conclusion, and it can be a little windy, but if you follow, you would see that it's easy to understand actually. Now, there are 2 concepts that you need to get before we get into the argument properly. The first concept is the concept of possible worlds. Now, a possible world is just the way that the world could be. It's a statement of possibility. So it is possible that you were not watching this video right now. It's possible that you were sleeping. So what that would mean is there's a possible world where you're not watching this video, but you're sleeping. It is possible that as you're watching this video right now, you're eating cake. It's very possible that as you are watching this video right now, you are drinking water. So there's a possible world where you're eating cake, or there's a possible world where you're drinking water, even though in the actual world, you are not sleeping right now, you are not eating cake right now, you are not drinking water while watching this video. So there's that possible world, or there are those possible worlds, and then there is the actual world. So you need to understand the concept of a possible world. For instance, a cartoon is a possible world, and if you watch cartoons, you probably see very crazy things that happens in cartoons or in animations, and you know that they cannot happen in the actual world. That is a possible world. You have stories, people write books, they create possible worlds. In some books and some legends, there are unicorns that exist, but of course we know that unicorns do not exist in the actual world. So there are possible worlds and there is the actual world, and this difference is going to help you as we get into the argument. The second concept is to understand the concept of a maximally great being. Now, part of the ways that we define God is we say that God is a maximally great being. What a maximally great being means is that God is a being who has all of the positive attributes to an infinite degree. God has all positive attributes to an infinite degree. So God is infinitely love, God is infinitely just, God is infinitely good, God is infinitely powerful. He has all of the positive attributes to an infinite degree. He is a maximally great being. If you understand the concept of possible worlds and you understand the concept of a maximally great being, then we can get into the argument. Now, the first premise says that it is possible that a maximally great being exists. Now, you need to understand, he says it is possible. It is possible that a maximally great being exists. What that means is he's not making any claims from knowledge, he's just making claims about possibility. It is possible that a maximally great being exists. Now, if that first premise is true, then the second premise would follow, and the second premise would say that it means that a maximally great being exists in some possible world. Remember what we said earlier, that it is possible that you're drinking water or that you're eating cake. It means that there is a possible world where you are eating cake or you're drinking water. So he says, in the first premise, it is possible that a maximally great being exists. And then the second premise would follow and say that a maximally great being exists in some possible world. The third premise would say that if the second premise is true, then a maximally great being would exist in every possible world. Think about it this way. We have said that a maximally great being has all the positive attributes to an infinite degree. If a maximally great being exists in some possible world, if that being is actually maximally great, that being would have to exist in every possible world, or else he will not be maximally great. So, a maximally great being has to exist in every possible world to be a maximally great being. The fourth premise says that If it is true that a maximally great being exists in every possible world, then it is true that a maximally great being exists in the actual world, because the actual world is a possible world, is just the actual world. So there is a possible world where you're just looking at your phone watching this video right now. Well, that is the actual world. You are actually just looking at your phone and watching this video right now. So if a maximally great being exists in every possible world, then the maximally great being will have to exist in the actual world. And then the conclusion is that a maximally great being exists. And we've said that God is the only definition for a maximally great being. A maximally great being has to be positive in every attribute, and he has to have all of these attributes to the infinite degree. Therefore, God exists. See you next week.